Here we go with some Latin. Quae vixtum. So quae is something which, vixtum scarcely, ambigua luce, it's ablative, so in the ambiguous light or in the hard to see light, the defensors, this would be the nominative. So the defenders, the people who are defending, and they're contemplating is the plural, so they're looking with a comparative rather intently in the ambiguous light, and vixtum means they can scarcely see, and eo assente is the present participle, and to add to this, quod, because we have an ictus in the turum, and ictus is a blow, arites is a battering ram, so by the blow of the battering ram, rather violently, it foravited, it dug a hole in the angular accusative turret, so the corner tower. Relictis civitas, having left the city, another ablative, duplicibus murus, with its double walls, they occupied a continentem arcem, the citadel which was touching onto it, something like that, which was right next to it and touching it. Then we have in an interrupter plani, so on an uninterrupted flat ground, which is superposited, which means placed above asperi monte, the Haas side of the mountain, cuis, of which the mediatas in the middle consurged up, something surging up, in sublime means up high, terenti means worn down or polished or rounded, and ambitu here is the rounded bit in a course. So from the middle of this, consurging up high of its rounded course, Ostabant was showing in the specium the appearance of an argolikai scuti. This is some type of shield you could Google. So it rounds down, it's partially wore out, as we saw from the word terrai, in the shape of this type of shield, nisi except that from the septriona id. If you look into the downloads or you Google that means the north, there's 7 stars, which mean north. Quad dirat, which was lacking in rotunditae, which was lacking in the roundness. In Euphrates fluenta, so something's flowing into the Euphrates. It looks like this side of the towers, which are built on these rocks, are flowing down. Projecte cortes. Cortes are broken crags and rocks again. Projecte means it's sticking out. So it could tuabanto, which means to watch or guard over. Ementius, another comparative, over this rather high thing over these projected rocks. Inqua exalabanted, it can mean threatening or battlements or some sort of thing. We have bitumine murorum. So these battlements are made here from bitumen, which is an asphalt of the walls, in which these excel particularly. So that's the best type of thing. And fabricati, which means they're made by fabricators, from coctilibus laticulus. Laticulus are bricks. Coctilus means they bake the bricks or something. Quo edificare genere nihilis esses tutius constat. This is an impersonal. Constat means it's agreed by which these types of buildings, genere is the type, edificae is the building, nihil is tutius. So no other type of building is more safer. Tutius is a comparative again. 13. Yamqui. And now, ferocia miles, a more ferocious soldier. I'm guessing this is meaning many soldiers. It's pervasa the herb. So the city was pervaded or invaded, you might want to say in English, by these ferocious soldiers. And again, it looks like they're using a singular here, who, when they saw vacuam, when they saw it was vacant or evacuated, they saw nothing there. Adversus oppidanes. An oppido is a town. When you see the N in it, it's an adjective for the town people. So against the townspeople who abarque from the citadel, multimodatella fundens. This here, fundenting is usually when you sling things and sling rocks. It looks like they're slinging multimodatella. I'm not exactly sure what multimoda is, but I'm guessing it's many types of tellers, which are spears and weapons. They were pugnabanting. So these brave soldiers come in the city, found it empty. Then they were up against town dwellers who were from their fortified city above, were fighting, pugnabanting, and throwing down all types of things at them. Acri contente in a fierce little combat situation, an acri contente. Okay, so we've got a daily dictionary as ever. Multimodus, adjective. Now this is late post-classical 3rd to 5th centuries, which is probably why you don't see it that often. In the top 20,000 words, it means various or manifold. So they had other words in classical period which would have meant something like that. Where were we? Cum enim. So for when, idem, the same prohibitors. These prohibitors would have been called defensors earlier. So these are prohibiting the inrushing people, so they were defending. They were ergerentor, they were pressed on by catapulus nostrorum, by our catapults, and ballistas. Ballistas are like something that throws rocks, I guess. And ipsi themselves, looks like now we've changed person. These have now changed to the nostrums, the arse. Ourselves also from this editor, from this high place, we were erigabanting, which means erecting. Arcos, these are bowmen. Fortita, another again, bravely. Tensos, means stretched out. So they've got bows and they've pulled the strings back, I'm guessing, by which panda, not panda bears, it's something in exposed or open ground. Utrumque means on both sides it's open. Surgienta cornu, this could be it's like they call the moon, when you look at it like a half moon, it has corners, the top and the bottom of it. So this would be like the top and bottom of the arc of the bow. It is flectobantor, so the bow's bent back from the top bit with nerves with strings. Thus, ita, Lentius, rather slowly they've pulled back their bows so that acti digitorum, so by something, digits are your fingers, so this action of the fingers on these drawstrings, we have pulsibus violentus, so they're sending out something violently, and the horodines is it's a word for what are those things that grow in marshes, that grow straight, reeds, and they make their bows, their sagittas, they make them out of reeds. So, and ferratus, so there's an iron tip on the end of the arrow, or the body of the arrow. These are pulsed out violently, they send out violently, and they are emiterated. They're sent out from these arcus, from the bowman, which in lise corporibus, these finger bend, these transfixed, letalita means lethally, contraries, the people they are fighting contrary to. So in lisa usually means bruised or something, but it looks like we've penetrated the bodies, pierced them lethally, the people they're fighting against, with they've pierced their bodies, their corporuses lethally. 14, dimicabator, so it was fought, nihil minus, nonetheless, it was fought, utribiqui, it looks like both sides. We have nimbus, which are clouds, saxorum of rocks. It looks like they're thrown manually. Menu is your hand, so they've caused clouds of rocks thrown by hands, and neutrubi. Neither of the sides, there's the neuter bit, neutra and ubi is where, so where on neither side, the inclinato momento. The momentum didn't incline to either of the sides, the force of it. It was an atrox prolium, it was a fierce battle, a lucus ortu, from the rising of the sun, ad initium, to the beginning, noctis, of night. Destinatione, magna protractum, so it was a great drawn out battle, going from light to dark. Pari means equally, sortes its lot, or the fate of it. Dirumptum, that's when it was finished. It's finished here at initium noctis. Okay, that was fun. Where are we? Proinde die. So proinde means then or next. The die secute means the following day. Cum curterentor, when there was a contest, when they were curtendering. We've got a superlative. Asperme, very harshly or fiercely. And we have and many were fundereted, many fell. Altrinsecus on both sides, it's one in the Secus family. And aequi vires, there was equal strength. Liberant in the balance. If you know your star signs, Libra is a balancing thing. Guest day of the deeds done. The emperor, the imperator, could have been a general or an emperor. Omnes alia casus, all dice throws in this case. Basically, we was going to chant some sort of thing of the dice. Inter mutas clades, amongst the mutual destruction. Expari to test, festinans to test. So he was hurrying to experiment. Cuniatum, in the Tim family here, we have a wedge. Stipatus, these are a band of people in a wedge. And densatisque, and it looks like it's very dense. Clippius ab ictu Sagittarium defenses. So here's what they're going. He's defended with their clippias. Clippias are shields. From all this, from these people in a wedge shape, from the ictu Sagittarius, from the blows of the arrows. With a veloci saltu, he's quickly danced ahead. He's leapt in with his commitantibus promptus, with his companions who are ready at hand. Promptus means ready to go. Prope portem venant hostilum. Okay, we'll take that slab. He was near the porta, which is a gate. Hostile means it's the enemy's gate, and he venated. Again, this is used as a singular, like defensus is singular. So this is talking about the emperor, and he's also got his friends with him. Where the hell was I? They came to the enemy gate, crustatum. There's a crust of thick ferro, which is iron. So this gate had a lot of rust on it or something, which encrusted it. How far are we going today? Down to here. 15. It licit, so and probably take that as an although, as a conjunction. And although saxus with rocks and glandae, no, they're not nuts, it's some type of bullet or something, some glandular looking thing. And ceteris tellus and the rest of missiles. Cum periculo, in danger, was prematuring, so he's being pressed. He's safe, salutus. Safety is being pressed in this danger, with this danger. Nevertheless, tamen, paratos, phodicare, I think we saw that earlier, it's trying to dig a hole in the latera, which is the flanks or the sides of the valve arms. These are valve doors like they had in old westerns. You have like a two-fold door. So here they are, they're ready to dig a hole in these encrusted doors so that they could pataphakerent, which means they were trying to make open an adytum, which is an approach or an entry. And he was present participating, he was increpens, so he was not really rebuking, he was probably encouraging. Vocibus crabus, making lots of noise, many words. And they not ante-discuss. He did not leave anti-quam, quam split here with a verb. He didn't leave before a congery of telorums. That means a huge mass. A congery is like, a lot of them. A lot of missiles, which super icia bantor, which were flying over them. Now he discerned, cornerated, that say him and his friends were going to be obruendum, overrushed, overcome with all these congeries of missiles which are coming in. And so he decided to leave. 16. He evaded it. We have a word like that in English. Evaded is what we use. Tamen. Nevertheless, he evaded cum omnibus with all his men. A porcus levibus vulneratus. A few of them were lightly wounded. That's the ablative plural version. And ipsi, which means himself, pronoun, was innoxious, unhurt. But he was suffusus. It's a past passive, so he was suffused, do we use that in English? With vericundo rubor. A shameful redness on his face suffused him or infused him or whatever we use. Ligerat enem, for he had read Aemilium Scipionem, Scipio Aemilius, with a Histarium conditor, so this cum is it takes the ablative, with a conditor, looks like a founder of history or a writer of history. Polybio, Megalopolina, that sounds very Greek, in Arcadia. So here's this guy, Polybius, went with Aemilius, Scipio Aemilius, and Trigento, which means 30, Militibus. So he's got one guy with his historian and 30 militibuses, with 30 soldiers. He had made an with an impetu, it made an attack on a portem Carthaginius, which is a gate of Carthage, is what they call it. Similarly, means similar to, I made an attack similar to this to sub Fodisi, to dig under their porta, under the gate. Nearly done. Said fides, but the fides receptor, but the received trustworthiness, veterum scriptorum, of the old script writers, of the old historians, or the old writers, the recens factum, the recent deeds defend it. So it looks like recent deeds defend this trustworthiness of the old script writers. That is, Julian's exploit, incredible as it may seem, is vouched for by one equally incredible. In fact, as he goes on to say, Julian was greater and more difficult. If you like footnotes in Loeb, and that's it for the day.